Well, hello friends and family, fellow YouTubers. Want to welcome you to Jim's In Town Gardening and also Bella's Legacy Rabbitry. Well, as you can see, I'm not in the rabbit barn. Bunny barn is, we got babies ready to be born, some that are weaned, lots going on out there. But today I'm finally going to get my hands dirty. Time to start some seeds. Now I know a lot of you in different parts of the country have already started a lot of your seeds. Some of you are even getting in the garden. Here in Maine, that's not going to happen. In my garden, I still have somewhere around 2.5, 3 feet of snow. In front of the house is probably a snowbank that's close to 14 feet tall, where I've been snow blowing. But here I am in guest room, sewing room, catch-all room right now. Leanna just cleaned out a lot of her sewing things out of my seed rack behind me. If I can figure out how to put a link somewhere up there, I'll do that if you want to see how I built that seed rack. It's worked out really well. So today we're going to start some peppers, and I'm going to plant quite a few peppers. We freeze a lot of peppers. Leanna likes hot peppers, so last year was the first time that she tried doing grinding peppers, dehydrating them and then grinding them and making her hot pepper flakes. So in this first part, I'm going to plant a whole smorgasbord of different peppers. The first one's going to be a Chinese giant. Then there's going to be a Keystone resistant giant, which we did last year, and I liked it. It's also an heirloom variety. A Grand Bell mixed peppers, quite a few different colors. That one's going to be the California Wonders. I mean, that's pretty much a staple for most pepper growers, sweet pepper. A jalapeno pepper. Anaheim chili. I really enjoyed those last year. Those grew really fun. And then these are supposed to be the hottest pepper, the hottest habanero. And they're an orange one. I know probably the writing's reversed. If I can figure out how to switch that when I do the recording or the editing, I'll do that. But it says the hottest of all, so we'll see. 95 days for maturity. Last year we had a few of them. They're not real big. What I have down here, and this isn't going to work out as well as I wanted it to. I should have gotten my other camera, and I haven't played with that, my GoPro. What I've got here is, what do they call it? Pro-Mix. And what you want to do is try to get all the big clumps of it. This is dry, dry, dry. I don't know if you can see the dust that's going on here. It is dry, dry, dry. So I have pretty much crumbled it up, and I know it will crumble up some more after I water it. So I'm going to try to make this video short. I don't need to bore you to tears on everything that's going on here. So a lot of this is going to be speeded up. Parts of it might be cut out just so that I don't bore you. Hopefully you'll stay tuned and watch. So what I'm going to do is I have some water. I'm going to pour in quite a bunch of water. What I want to do is I want to get this real moist. And I'm going to say it's going to take a gallon at least. We'll see what that is. This almost a gallon. What you're going to want to do is mix this all up, and you want it to stick together, but once it's all absorbed, you don't want to squeeze it in your hand and have it dripping out of your hands. I mean, a drop or two is fine, but so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix this all up. So this will probably get speeded up. Okay, now that I have the consistency of this that I want, what you want to do is make sure it clumps together. Once you've mixed everything up, um, get a hold of it, squeeze it in your hand. If you get a drop or two of water that drips out of your hands, that's fine. But I wouldn't go any wetter than that. You don't want soggy soil. So I already know how I'm going to do this, and I know you're probably not going to be able to see that it's going to be backwards. That's my dome. And I'm going to plant this one the same way that I did last year. Like I was reading, I've got them all in order. The Chinese giant peppers, keystone resistant, blah, 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 blah. And you'll see as I go along with this. So now what I'm going to do is fill each cell. What you've got is your seed cells. Each one holds 6, so there's 2 different ones here. So I'm going to take the first one out. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up. Let me put that down so you can see it. Hopefully you got enough light on there. You don't want to pack these down tight. I mean, a little firm, but not tight. Just pat it down a little bit. And you don't have to take a lot of time with this. I'm taking a lot more time than I usually do, but I want everybody to see what I'm doing. See what I'm doing? I'm just petting that down a little bit because I want it up towards the top. I never water my seedlings from the top. It's always from the bottom. What was it, 2-3 years ago? I had bought, and I'm not going to mention the name of the brand because I still use that brand, but I opened up one of the bags of potting soil, my starter mix, and I had, what do they call them? Yep. There's a name from those little tiny flies. They're not a fruit fly, they're fungus gnats. Oh, did they come out of that container? Oh my gosh. And it was dry. Usually they like the moisture, but anyways, we had a problem for a while. Finally got rid of them, or most of them. Once in a while we'll have one that pops up. All right, so I have that. Actually, what I'm going to, I'll show you as I do this one. See if I can aim the camera. Actually, you should be able to see. All right, so normally I've got a pencil. I'm just going to use a pen. Actually, I'll bring it up here. So what I'm going to go down, I'm just going to poke a little hole in each cell, and you only want to go about 1/4 inch. You go much deeper, and it's going to be too deep for the seeds. You want to go on peppers, you only want to go about 1/4 inch. Okay, so the first one we were going to do was the Chinese giant. Now I know in a lot of the directions they'll tell you, let's see, we'll pull out 6, 4, 5. One more, come on baby, there you go. A lot of the directions will tell you to take, let's see if I can do this so everybody can see. They'll tell you to take 2 seeds in each hole. Just so that if one doesn't germinate, I, as a rule, have excellent germination rate on almost anything that I plant in my seed starting rack. Something doesn't have one. There's one there. And this one up top. Okay, so you can see the seeds. So now what I'm going to do is just pat them down a little bit. You want to make sure you get contact with that seed with the whatever you're using for a starting mix. Now, I never add anything to my seed starting mix. I want a a sterile starting mix. You don't have to add any fertilizer or anything. Now, normally, I think it will say 7 to 14 days. Days to germination, 10 to 12. I'm guessing that most of my peppers are going to come up within probably somewhere around the 6 to 8 mark. Usually my peppers start real quick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish filling each one of these up. I'll plant all my peppers. I'll bring you back at that point. What's going to happen then is it's going to go into my seed rack. Now the thing with peppers, you don't need light to get them to germinate. You know, if you've got some light coming in, that's fine. They do like it warm. A lot of people will say to put them on top of a refrigerator. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my lights going on the bottom part of my grow rack, which will give some heat. But I'll probably throw a towel over my domes. I'll bring you back in just a few minutes. Okay, so I've got 2 trays all planted. This is cockeyed. I don't know why, but it is. Anyways, so these are going to go in now. A lot of these are telling me that it's going to be 10 to 14 days. We'll see how long it is. Today is the 15th, March 15th, I believe. Yeah, 15th, because I got 2 doughs due tomorrow. So we'll see. And when some of them do start germinating, I'll include that in a clip that I'm doing, just so you can see. So I planted a few other ones. There's Cayenne long slim peppers, New Mexico peppers. Those are supposed to be a mild to medium heat. What is it? Cabano, sweet pepper. Serrano chili peppers, habanero peppers. Those are supposed to be pretty hot, but they're not the hottest habanero. Poblano peppers. And then the last one I did is, this is going to be new for me. No, that isn't the one. It's called Carnival Blend. It's a bunch of sweet peppers, all different colors. There's purple, green, red, yellow, and almost a whitish color. And I think there was one other color. So I'm interested to try to start doing that. We use a lot of peppers. Like I said, Leanna uses a lot of hot peppers. She likes spice. But even in, you know, we do salads, always have peppers in salads. If she cooks steak, there's always peppers and onions in that. So anyways, I thought that would be neat to try that out, see what the flavor is. Okay, so I'm going to put this tray in. So there's 2 trays of peppers in here. Give me just a minute and I'll show you. Now, you got to realize I don't have the light on the top part going. I don't want a lot of light in there, but I do want some of the heat. So the lights that I have on, that will bring the heat. I guess starting pepper, the rule of thumb is somewhere around 80 to 90 degrees. I don't think I normally have it that hot, but there is quite a bit of heat coming from those fluorescent lights. So give me a minute and I'll show you. Okay, so that's inside on the top rack. You got the two ones that are there. Now what's going to happen once those emerge, I will pull the domes off, and I don't think all of them are going to come up at the same time. Some of them are saying only about 7 days to germinate. We'll see. I'm going to kind of keep track of what's going on here. Now, the other thing that I've got that I'm going to plant in the next day or two is pansies. I'm going to plant a whole bunch of those. Those will go down in this tray. And again, those don't want light. And then I've got that row, and then there's a bottom row, and that's a mess down there. I've got a whole bunch of pots and stuff. One thing I'm going to do differently this year, and you can see I've already got 2x4s to lift these trays up, and I'll probably add, a 1x4, something like that underneath or on top of these once the plants do come up to keep them near the light. That will save me from adjusting that light a little bit, because it's a pain with those chains, and especially when the plants get big. I want to keep the light near the plants, only because I don't want them getting leggy. So, again, I've started planting, and I'm excited about that. I love planting. I love watching the little plants take off and grow and do their thing. Love to be out in the garden. So, here we are, 2021, and started gardening. I'm excited. I know a lot of you guys have already started. I wish I could have here, but state of Maine, you can't do that. So, thanks for watching. Love you guys. God bless you.